Commence primary ignition.
Hello there.
Well, what is up, all of you Ugnaughts and Jawas out there? And it is officially in season. Obi-Wan Kenobi predictions are coming to you on this live stream. We're going to be right. We're mostly going to be wrong. But joining me in doing that, of course, is DJ Foster at Rebel Scum Texan. I am hyped over here. How you feeling tonight, DJ?
I'm pretty good. I'm feeling purple. I'm like, I'm feeling purple. Did you ever watch the SpongeBob SquarePants movie?
Yes, I have.
So do you remember when SpongeBob tells Patrick, we're going to party till we're purple?
No,
I'm at that point. Well, he does. I can assure you he does. And then Patrick goes, I love being purple. That's me tonight. I'm out here being purple.
Well, there you
ready
go.
To party.
Well, speaking of that, shout out to Brandon Anderson. Longtime listeners of the show are going to know who that is. It's been a minute. He's busy, doing life, recently married. Shout out to BA for getting the Obi-Wan Kenobi predictions template together for us. He used kind of like the themes of the new planet that we're getting in Kenobi, which I'm still struggling, but I believe it is Dayu.
Dayu.
Let's go. I got it memorized finally. He used Dayu as kind of the inspiration for the predictions template, and I got to admit, it looks pretty fresh. And of course, the text that's up at the top. What's that Star Wars text called? Orabesh. He has it Easter egged. That spells Mando talk. So shout out BA for getting that done, and share some love in the chat for all the work that he does for us. Bring it in. So by the way, those of you watching live with us, bring your Obi-Wan Kenobi, entire show predictions into the chat if you want. And also, we are going to specifically dial in and focus in on episode 1 and 2 predictions toward the back half of this stream. So bring those into the chat as well, and we'll definitely read those. And Blue Harvest Bricks already is throwing a shout out to BA. So first of all, thank you for joining us live, Blue Harvest Bricks. Dedication, we always appreciate it. Says, loving the new Kenobi background. Yeah, it is fire. It's absolute fire. Shout out BA. But yes, bring in predictions. We're going to do all sorts of goodness predictions tonight. Can't wait to do it. Like we said at the top, gonna be wrong, but also occasionally we might be right. DJ, anything? Well, actually, I think there's something that we might need to just tease. We got some big announcements coming soon.
We do.
Man. And when I say big announcements, I legitimately mean big announcements. I know it's the thing to, he's a podcast host, he's got to announce big announcements. No, we've got some big announcements on Friday, which, by the way, that's going to be our Obi-Wan Kenobi spoiler discussion live at 6 p.m. Central. So all kinds of plugs. DJ, anything you want to say before we finally dive into these predictions?
You know what? I was just thinking. So one of the first news articles I shared with you before I joined Mando Talk. Mm-hmm. It was at the time we were rumored to be getting. I don't know the name of the actor, but the guy that's playing the fifth brother in Kenobi.
Okay.
He from Tokyo Drift, Fast and Furious franchise. That guy whose name I can't remember. He's Han in Fast and Furious.
Yes,
but
that's how I remember him. Yes.
The first article I ever found to use for a Mando Talk episode, I was going to be helping report news with.
Okay.
That was one of them, and I had it saved somewhere in a note, and I found it today, and I'm like, it's kind of cool, full circle, because we're here. We're about to see this guy in action. And I just think it's neat for me to come in with this article. It's like, hey, let's do this. And you're like, okay. And here we are about to actually discuss this show. This has been a long time coming.
Oh,
and I think
and
it's really cool.
Just that too, like the fact that the Obi-Wan Kenobi series is finally here. This is a story that they've been trying to put together, first in movie form and now in series form, and it's incredible that it is finally here. And I see that we've got RFB in the chat, noticing the Mando Talk kind of Easter egg to our YouTube template here. So shout out Brandon Anderson for doing that again. Yeah. And he also says Sun King. I believe that is the actor that is portraying the brother. Right. But yeah, glad that you're here, RFB, and glad that anybody that's watching and checking us out, glad that you're here. All right, let's get into the predictions. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to start this episode by sharing our Obi-Wan Kenobi series top 5 overall predictions. That way we can kind of just talk about, maybe before we see any seconds of this show, just our overarching predictions of what we might see potentially during this series. Then we're going to get into our likelihood of appearing section, where we give a percentage to, is this character going to show up, is this planet going to show up, is this thing going to show up, yada yada yada. And those of you that remember from Book of Boba Fett, we were way off. We thought it was going to be book, it was going to be the book of cameos. Was our thoughts. But glad that we were wrong on that, and we're probably going to be wrong tonight. And then we'll, again, back half of the stream, we will get to episode 1 and 2 specific predictions. So there's a kind of an overarching map of where we're heading this evening. So without further ado, let's get into our series top 5 overall predictions, and I'll go ahead and go first. I'll list out my top 5. We'll pause, discuss it, then we'll go to DJ's top 5. So my first prediction that I typed out: the Obi-Wan Vader rematch ends in a draw that is up to the viewer to decide who won. So kind of like from a certain point of view. That way the canon can still kind of be in line. This rematch results in Obi-Wan being fully convinced that Anakin is gone and has become more machine now than man. So there's prediction number 1. Prediction number 2, Inquisitor Reva and Indira Varma's Imperial officer will die. Ooh, that one really hurt for me to type out, but that's where my current headspace is at. Number 3, Qui-Gon Jinn, and I wanted to stretch a little bit, and Yoda will appear. Well, I'm sure we'll discuss that here later, especially throughout the night. Number 4, there will be a Clone Wars flashback to allow Hayden Christensen to reprise the Anakin Skywalker role. And I just made like a little side note here. I would love for this to somehow connect to the character of Reva and give some background behind her and how maybe she's connected to these characters that we've known and loved. And then finally, 5th prediction. This one's a stretch, but something that I would love to see. I wanted to make sure I put it out there. Young Leia's Force abilities will be teased by visions of her mother, directly connecting to the conversation she had with Luke on Endor in Return of the Jedi. So those are my top 5 overall predictions. Some of them safer, some of them a bit of a stretch. Wishful thinking, we'll see. Maybe it happens. Deborah Chow, we believe in you. What do you think about those 5 things there, DJ? What stands out to you that you feel the need to discuss now, maybe since it doesn't show up on your top 5?
So and I think you and I really only overlap in a couple of places.
So save talking about those then until we overlap.
I will say this. Your number 1, Obi-Wan Vader rematch ending in a draw, is kind of perfect.
Ooh, okay.
In its own way. And allow me to borrow a phrase. It's like poetry, it rhymes.
Sure.
What you have in the sequel trilogy, Rey beats Kylo Ren in TFA. They don't fight in TLJ. Okay. So you could call that your draw, if you will, because it was a draw. I mean, they did split the lightsaber in half with the Force. So 100%. we'll call that a draw. But then Rise of Skywalker, Kylo Ren beats Rey. Now, he was going to beat her. It just so happens that Leia interrupted the moment, and Rey, does what she does and stabs him. So I bring that up to say, let's give the poetry here. Obi-Wan beat Anakin on Mustafar. There's a draw in Kenobi, and Vader beats Obi-Wan here. At New Hope. I mean, so I guess you could say that, that was kind of a draw because Obi-Wan gave up his life.
Sure. Yeah.
But if that's the case, then still you get Vader beating Obi-Wan here as a possibility. So you just never know with these things. So I like the idea of there being a draw. I think that's interesting. And I think that actually adds more to the story than what most people are being like, oh, it's just a fight. Well, first of all, it's not just a fight, but this adds to that just a fight, if you know what I mean. Mm-hmm. Second thing is your Yoda appearance. Yeah. I don't know, man. that seems a little out there. I mean, I could see where, but I don't know. I think Qui-Gon's a definite.
Yeah, and see, I guess maybe that's why I wanted to include the and Yoda part, just to be fun, because I think it's kind of like well known across the fan base that Qui-Gon Jinn's got to show up in this. Yeah. So why not get Yoda involved a little bit? Let's have fun.
I will not be upset with it at all. Yeah. And anybody that would be, it's like, why are you mad? It's Yoda. Shush. You know, like it's one of those things. But your fifth one's the one that's most interesting to me. Okay. That being, young Leia. First of all, you're with this one. It's kind of like a part 1, part 2. You're predicting Leia A shows up.
Correct.
You're also saying, hey, we get Force abilities teased by visions of her mother. Now, here's my question to you on that. Mm-hmm. Her birth mother or her adopted mother?
Birth mother.
Wow. That's bold.
Yeah.
That's a bold one, man. You know what? You are a bold one.
Because, speculation, good. Thor Love and Thunder, did they use the volume? Because if they did, Natalie Portman could potentially have been on set or nearby while they were shooting Kenobi. Why not?
It depends on where they filmed that, though.
Sure, because now they have so many.
There's one in London, I believe, at Pinewood, and then there's one in Vancouver.
Right.
And, of course, the one in the Los Angeles area, Hollywood. So depending on where they filmed Thor, Love and Thunder, you're onto something. We'll see. I mean, she's there and she seems available and she's already working with Disney. My thing is give her 5 minutes, come over for a day, film with Natalie Portman, maybe get like my thing is this isn't a prediction, but it's something I think that would be neat if they decided to do it is give, the audience a premonition of what it could have looked like of Anakin and Padme together raising the Skywalker twins. That would be really neat.
Yeah, it would be cool.
So like my fan fiction brain kind of wants to go there. Sure. But that'd be a good place, I think, for Natalie Portman to show up. Granted, she hasn't hardly aged a day.
No.
I mean, she looks about as wonderful as she did in Attack of the Clones and in Revenge of the Sith. So it's just one of those things where, I could see where it can make it work. But anyway, I love that. I love that option. I think it's crazy to think how it connects to Return of the Jedi, which it's perfect. You want these things to connect, but it's out there and I do like it. It's just, I'm trying to see how does it work?
How would it work? Yeah.
Yeah.
No,
I don't know yet.
Sure. I get that for sure. Well, there's my top 5 predictions, overall predictions for the show. Now, RFB says I've heard some things in the chat, and I do want to address that as well. I know there's tons of like online rumors and leaks. Just to let our viewers know, I haven't read a single sentence of those, so I know nothing. These predictions aren't based off of leaks, rumors, anything like that. I've specifically made a point to avoid everything, almost even to the point where I've avoided Ewan and Hayden interviews because I just don't want to know anything else.
I'm impressed by that.
I just want to wait until Friday to actually see the thing. So just wanted to make sure our viewers knew that and I think I can speak for you, DJ, as well. We haven't read a single one of those articles that say episode 1 details, episode 3 details. We haven't done that. So this is just clearly off the dome. And you can probably tell for those of you that have read the leaks.
Well, there's never anything being off the dome. And if you've read the leaks, man, I'm kind of over here like I've been talking to family members and friends, and I'm like, just have faith in the show. Don't jump off of some or onto some bandwagon. Don't read ahead. I've seen those articles. I've avoided them like a plague. I don't want anything to do with them. So
half of it's just the experience, these weekly discussions that we can have here at Mando Talk. That's what it's all about. All right, DJ, we're ready for your top 5. Let's hear it.
Oh, okay. Well, mine, I feel like are just a smidge lackluster in the sense that Caleb is kind of here just going with some really great
bananas.
No, they're good options. No, I don't think they're crazy. They're really good options and feasible, and I think mine are just absolutely like way too feasible. That's why, except for one. Maybe one's not that feasible, but still. Let's see here. Okay, I'm going to go with my first one, and I believe these are probably already on the screen for everybody to see. Maybe not.
They are.
They are. Yeah. I got a delay on my end, but it's all good. My first one, Obi-Wan and Uncle Owen will have their conversation from the trailers in the first episode. Now, I wrote this before a certain TV spot had come out.
Yeah.
And it was a clip of that conversation. I imagine that will definitely be in the first episode. This one's kind of like a given, I think, anyway. But there's a lot going on in that conversation that it very easily could have taken place in the second episode.
Mm-hmm.
And it very easily could have taken place, maybe later on if they really wanted to wait. I don't think they do. I think let's just get the Luke and Obi-Wan stuff out of the way and Uncle Owen stuff out of the way, which sounds bad because they are important characters. But this is Obi-Wan Kenobi. We need to see where that goes. So I'm going to just say, yeah, Obi-Wan and Owen, first conversation here, or that we've seen in the trailers is in this first episode. Okay.
Like it.
The second one, Qui-Gon Jinn will appear at some point in this series. I think it's a little difficult to pinpoint where at this point. And I think everybody wants this, everybody wants to see him return. They brought him back for Clone Wars, I think for the Mortis arc, and then also Yoda's arc in the season 5 finale, for season 5.
I think it's season 6.
Season 6 finale. That's right, because season 5 is when Ahsoka leaves. So, with that being the case, it's just he's too important to Obi-Wan's story. And Deborah Chow has said, we want to tell a story about people that are close to Obi-Wan, and that's a tease, And if it's not Qui-Gon, bummer, but I want Qui-Gon. So Qui-Gon at some point. Third, a Clone Wars flashback of some kind. We just saw Ewan and Rosario Dawson on the volume in a Vanity Fair article. I think that this is fair to say we could at least get these two characters. Let's get the Trinity.
That'd be cool.
Let's get Ahsoka, Anakin, and Obi-Wan. I think it'd be great. And maybe even some Tamara Morrison. Come on, it'd just be too dope. Okay.
Oh.
Just to have it there would be awesome. If they don't do it, I'm not gonna be upset, but I think it'd be great, and I really want to see that happen. So I'm gonna go with that's a solid prediction for me. This one's my off the wall one. The Fortress Inquisitorius will be destroyed. To my knowledge, it does not exist at the time of Star Wars Rebels. At least it doesn't in the first 2 seasons of Rebels, which I'm currently rewatching, and I don't recall it being in the third because there's like almost no Inquisitors in the third one.
Mm-hmm.
And then the fourth one, I don't think there's any Inquisitors either. So I'm pretty sure that if it's destroyed, it'll be really cool to watch. And I also think, I'm pretty sure that Jedi Fallen Order takes place before Obi-Wan Kenobi.
I believe so. Yes. So
I'm not off in my timeline here by saying I was really trying to be diligent with that.
Yeah.
The reason I think it'll be destroyed though is because we've got Death Stars blowing up at times. We've got Starkiller Base blowing up. We've got Anakin destroying the droid control ship in episode 1. I just like it when something big explodes, I guess, but I think it makes sense given, who knows what kind of shenanigans Obi-Wan will get into.
Yeah.
And then also finally, Vader is teased at the end of the first episode. I think that is a solid prediction. If it's not the first, it's the second, but Vader is teased very quickly. So I'm leaving it at that. Caleb, what do you think?
No, the only thing I'll add is I love your number 1. I love your number 2. I love your number 3. I really like your number 4. I would love to see like a massive that fortress getting blown up somehow. Now, I don't know how Kenobi would tie into that, but it'd be really cool to see the destruction of Fortress Inquisitorius. I love that name. And then the 5th thing, I have a feeling we're probably going to discuss Vader's appearance later on in the stream, so I'll kind of leave it there. But yeah, I really, really like your list there. Well,
thank you.
We're gonna get into our cameo likelihood here next, but let me go over to the chat here real quickly. RFB says no worries, I won't spoil. Appreciate that. I've been in live chats with Jason Ward equals Making Star Wars. Yeah, Making Star Wars has been doing like incredible work as far as getting
I didn't know that.
leaks and rumors and things like that. And then RFB says, I don't deal in leaks nor rumors. I go straight to the source. Yeah, 100%.
This is true.
100%. Glad you do that. Just wanted to make sure that we didn't get any indication of what those leaks are because, like I said, I've been working so hard to try to avoid those things.
Yeah.
But yeah, appreciate you continue to bring those thoughts into the chat. RFB, anybody else, continue to bring thoughts into the chat regarding theories, predictions, questions, anything regarding the first 2 episodes of Obi-Wan Kenobi or regarding the entire show overall. All right. Are we ready to get into our little cameo chart here?
I think so.
Okay.
I went and scrolled through it today, and I was like, should I type mine in ahead of time? I was like, no, that's a bad idea. We got to listen to the show. So I love the list you have so far. And
well, when you were talking,
complete.
you mentioned Tamara Morrison, and I had to add Commander Cody in there. I completely overlooked having him on the list. So we'll share some percentages on that. Yeah, I haven't put thought into these percentages at all. I'm just going off the cuff as we go down this list.
Yeah, and I don't think I've put thoughts into the percentages themselves. However, I definitely have been making my own cameo list on the side, just leading up to this because I knew it was something we were going to do.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I didn't. You don't want to get a percentage together until it's time.
Sure.
You know what I mean?
Until that discussion's being had, for sure.
Absolutely.
Zach in the chat says, "So what's up, Zach? Long time no see." No, just kidding. I talk to him all the time. Can't wait to hear your thoughts, Zach, on this Kenobi show. He says that Obi-Wan logo on the bottom is dope. Yeah, shout out BA. BA's doing great work. Doing great work. All right, chat. Let us know these percentages as we are going through here as well. Join in on this conversation. So let's start with Leia Organa. I guess I can go ahead and go first.
Who is that? Who's Leia?
100%. 100%. I'm putting 100% down in the chart.
You're going for a Hundy, a Benjamin.
I am. Yes.
A full Benji over here for Leia. Man, I want to maintain a sense of pessimism.
Okay.
Because you just don't know. And we were so wrong with Book of Boba. So I think I'm gonna have to place it. Oh man, I don't know. This is weak, but I'm gonna give you a 99%.
Oh, okay.
99%.
All right. Well, I have to say, on YouTube, I believe the most watched video of any on Mando Talk is my little YouTube short over Leia's rumor to be in the Kenobi show. So just based on that, I'm going with it's meant to happen. It's going well. It's that Leia's just going to be in it. So 100% for me, 99% just so 1% of DJ.
I want to at least have 1% of
I saw her not being in it.
No hope. I have no hope, but it's 1% of no hope.
Yeah.
So I'm leaving it at that.
Okay, fair enough. Well, Bail Organa, I'm struggling with this because I feel like if young Leia is in it, then Bail has to be in it.
Sure.
And so with that said, if I'm saying Leia's 100%, I have to say Bail Organa is also 100%. So I'm going to go ahead and put that in the chart for myself. What about you, DJ?
Let me ask a quick question. When you say a young Leia,
yes.
Do you mean a 10-year-old Leia?
Correct.
Or are we talking even a baby?
No, 10-year-old Leia.
Okay. So then, I needed to make sure I had that down correctly. So then in that case, I am going to rock a solid 85%.
For Bail?
Yeah.
Okay.
Because I know you have to, if you want Leia, you need Bail. I understand that.
Mm-hmm.
But you know what? I'm taking it back. Flop those two percentages. Flop them.
Leia 85 and Bail 99?
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah. I think I have
switcheroo.
I need to, and I wouldn't normally want to do that because once I'm in, I want it to stay, solid. But I think this makes more sense than Leia because you don't need Leia to tell Obi-Wan's story. You just,
sure.
I don't think you do. He didn't drop her off anywhere. Bail took her to Alderaan. So you don't need Leia. It'd be great to see her, and I won't be upset if she's there. But it makes more sense for Bail to be there. He's Obi-Wan's buddy. He's the one keeping him, I guess, maybe informed or even under wraps. So that's obvious. So,
yeah,
I would say that that's more likely.
Okay, fair enough. I agree with that reasoning there. So, I mean, I totally get that. All right, next up, Bail Organa's better half, Brea? Is that how you say her first name?
I think it's Brea or Brea.
Okay.
I pronounced it both ways.
Okay.
So.
Okay. Well, I'm going to go with 40%.
Okay.
I think just based off of your rationale that you just used, she's definitely not necessary as far as telling the story of Obi-Wan Kenobi. But if Bail's going to show up, it would make sense for her to be right there with him.
Gotcha.
So I'm going to go with a still 40% solid number, but I would say it's less likely that she does show up versus it's more likely that she doesn't. That's what I'm trying to say.
Yeah,
so that's why I'm going with the 40 number.
Well, I'm going with a single-digit number for you. A solid 2%.
Wow, 2%.
Just like I like my percentages of Brea Organa showing up like I like my milk. 2%.
Yeah. RFB, by the way, this is over all 6 episodes. This little likelihood chart that we're filling out is for the entire series, not for episodes 1 and 2. We're going to get into our episodes
Can
1
you
and
imagine?
1 and 2. Oh, I know. That'd be crazy. We're going to get into we're going to get into our episodes 1 and 2 predictions after we finish this chart. We're kind of doing overall series predictions first, so definitely wanted to address that. 2%, huh?
It just, I don't know. Leia in Return of the Jedi says she died when she was very young.
Yeah.
And even Luke asks her, "Who do you remember your mother, your real mother?" And she just says, like, just small moments, flashes, and then remembers her just being sad, and I just don't think she'll be here. If she died when she was very young, I could see like I remember things vividly from when I was 10 years old.
Yeah.
It just makes sense to me. Like, if you don't remember your mom that well, she would have had to have died when you were really, really young.
Okay. Hold on. Let's pause for a second.
Okay.
You're telling me that your interpretation of that quote in Return of the Jedi is that Leia's talking about Brea? Not Padme?
Yeah, because Padme died the second after Leia was born.
See, that's why I made my entire prediction, is because Leia's connection with the Force has that remembrance of her mother's presence at birth.
I mean, in canon, we know Leia has been to Naboo.
Okay.
So we can see maybe some connections here where, Leia would know that Padme Amidala is her birth mother.
Yeah.
But for me, I just, because of the rationale I have from Return of the Jedi.
Wow.
That's why I'm going with that, because if she doesn't show up, whatever. But at the same time, I can't go higher than 5%. Honestly.
That's fair.
I can't think of a reason.
That's fair. I just wanted to hear your thoughts on, because I've always just heard people take that quote and think of Padme and not. I
don't see how you can even rationalize that, because
Luke,
she died 5 seconds after Leia was born. I mean,
right, but Luke knows that Brea is not his mother.
Yeah, but Luke.
So why would Luke ask Leia about her real mother if they had the same mother?
I don't know. I'm just saying. That's where I'm at.
Just interesting side conversation. We need to have this on another podcast.
Hold on. Luke probably has no idea who Padme is.
Sure.
I mean, the events from A New Hope to Return of the Jedi are only like 5 years.
Correct. Yeah.
Okay. Like, I guess you could take a second and go, well, let me figure out my mom. I guess you could. There's too much going on.
Right.
He's wrapped up in who his dad is.
Uh-huh.
He ain't even thinking about his mom yet.
No, that's fair.
That's where I'm at on that.
That's just, I think that's an interesting conversation to have, for sure.
Hey, we'll just add it to the list.
All right. Next up, C-3PO, I'm going to go 50%.
Oh, wow. That's pretty high.
50%. Half and half. It's a toss of the coin.
I'll give it a 30. I don't think we need to rationalize everybody's appearance, but
sure,
I can see where 3PO comes in, and I can see where R2 comes in, but I don't give it a very high percentage for 3PO.
I'm just going to give R2 50 as well.
70. Yeah. If you get Bail, you get R2. There's just no way around it.
No, that's fair.
They did that with Rebels, so I mean, it just makes sense.
Yeah, I totally understand that. totally understand that. Okay, let's keep going down this list.
Okay.
Padme Amidala. Ooh.
Did I mess you up with my rationale?
Yes. Because, I mean, one of my top 5 predictions is how Leia's going to remember her real mother.
I didn't say he can't have visions from the Force. Rey had visions of the Force from people she never even met.
Right.
So, I mean, the Force can work in some mysterious ways, as we know.
Right.
It's not to say that Leia, I think the human side of Leia never knew Padme.
Correct.
But the Force could have revealed Padme to her.
Correct. And that's why that's how I've always interpreted that line in Return of the Jedi. Is she's remembering Padme through the Force. No,
I've never once considered that.
Interesting.
But I say that to say rationalize your prediction here. You know, I don't want to throw it out the window because of my thinking. Because
sure.
You know, but you're going what?
I'm gonna go 10% that it happens.
Caleb.
Yeah.
I'm offended.
I don't think it's likely that Padme Amidala shows up.
Flashbacks, bro.
Yes, 100%. But flashbacks, I think they've got Hayden, they've got Ewan, they've got Rosario Dawson. I don't know if they're going to go into Padme.
I'm so sad. This makes me sad. 25%.
Okay.
And I'm sad for you. How dare you not think of? How dare you? That's the queen.
I mean, I would love to see it. I just don't think it's likely.
How dare you? How dare you?
All right, Anakin Skywalker. When I say Anakin, I mean like Clone Wars flashback. I'm going 100.
Yeah, 100. I mean, come on.
All right, next, Qui-Gon Jinn. I'm going 100.
100. Yeah.
Yoda. Since I included that in my top 5, I'm going to give it a... Well, actually, no, I'm not going to say 50. Since I put it in my top 5, I'm going to say 60.
You're about to put 500%. I was actually also going to say 60, so that worked out pretty cool.
Nice. All right, I put this one really here for fun, to be honest. I mean, because it is kind of possible if you think about it.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna go negative 1%.
1,000%. No, I'm kidding. No, Jar Jar's not showing.
Okay.
No, it's a 0. It's a 0.
Sounds
now,
good.
I would be over the moon if he showed up, but you would literally have to go to Naboo to see him. If you know Jar Jar's story.
Flashbacks, DJ. Flashbacks.
No. Present day. I guess you could get Jar Jar in a flashback.
Wouldn't that be cool?
It'd be very off the wall. Like
it would.
I'd be like, what? Why? You know, I don't think anybody'd be upset about it, but we'd be like, give us more. I would immediately give us more Jar Jar, you know, if that happened. And then people like my dad would just roll their eyes and be like, why? Well, let's RFB sticking with us, and I wanted to say what he's got.
Let's see what he's got.
Bria, 100%, 3PO 20, R2 20, Padme 0. How dare you, RFB? Anakin 40, Qui-Gon Hundi, Yoda 0, Jar Jar 0, and he's already given 2 more predictions: Ahsoka and Mace Windu. Zeros.
Yeah, we're getting there. Ahsoka, I'm gonna go 40.
Give me a 40.
Okay,
I'll take 40. That sounds good. I like them odds.
I like the possibility.
Yeah,
I just feel like there's so much that we need to focus on rather than that.
Yeah.
That if she shows up, I'd be thrilled, but if not, I'd be okay.
Do you think that they would have to de-age Rosario Dawson at all?
Slightly, just slightly.
Because like
anything,
even
really,
I don't actually know how old she is, but she looks young. Like she doesn't look like she needs to be de-aged. You could do a lot of that with makeup, probably.
Sure, you probably could.
Yeah, I don't know.
Mace
40
Windu
sounds good.
Mace Windu, I'm going 0. But I mean, we included him on Boba Fett. He's going to be in any show we do. Mace Windu's on the list.
You know what? I like this. Makes me happy. I want Mace Windu to show up. I mean, I do have some purple rocking tonight, but I don't know. I've been pretty gung ho about Mace Windu showing up to this point.
Okay,
I'm gonna give it a 11%.
Why 11?
I like it's two number ones. I mean, I don't know. I just like it's half of 1138. I don't know.
Fair.
I'm just like I like the number 11. It's a good number.
All right. Next on the heroes list, Cassian Andor. I'm giving it 0.
I'm gonna have to give it a 0. I mean, I can see where it would work, but I don't want to like rationalize it too much.
All right, last hero, Commander Cody. Late addition to the list, I'm going to give it a 20%. I think it's possible, but I don't think it's highly likely.
This is one of those things that's become extremely debatable to a sense.
Yeah.
Because people are like, he's got to show up. People, they want him to be there, and then I love that in the Lego Star Wars game, when you get to A New Hope, Kenobi's got pictures from his old war days up on the wall, and he's next to like Commander Cody and other random clothes. It's just kind of a nice little touch. Oh man, but that's not canon. Man, I don't know, dude. This is actually difficult for me.
Commander Cody, yeah.
It truly is. I'm gonna go 30%. Because
I like that.
And I think that's a good number. It's hard not to see it, but I can get where he doesn't.
Yeah. Fair enough. Well, there is our hero list that I could kind of come up with as far as potential heroes that could show up. I really think outside of this list, it would probably be a stretch that they would be in it to begin with, because at that point, I think you're digging into maybe too deep of canon that wouldn't necessarily click with the general audience. But yeah. I'm sure I may have overlooked somebody. So if I did, please let me know in the chat if there's somebody on the heroes list that might show up in the Obi-Wan Kenobi series. Let's go ahead and go to, I made like a short little bounty hunter list only based on the line from the trailer from Reva about how basically all the bounty hunters possible she would hire to go and get Kenobi or whoever she's talking about.
Do you want to add Reiko Hardeen?
We could add him, but I'm not adding it. Yeah, because I don't think that's happening.
No, watch it happen.
Yes, that would be pretty remarkable.
It's too deep into the lore.
I have a feeling all of these numbers for me are going to be pretty low, if I have to admit.
Yeah.
Cad Bane, let's kick this off. I'll give it a slight chance at 5%.
I'll go 15.
Okay. Hey, we did see him in the trailer, apparently, in the background, right?
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah.
Boba Fett. I'm also going to go really low. I'm going to go 5% as well. I think it's just as likely.
I'm sticking with 15.
Okay. So we're
on the same number. But specifically, Daniel Logan Boba Fett.
Dude, that would be something. That would be so awesome.
I'm Daniel Logan. Yeah, that's what I'm going with.
Bosk, I'm going to go with a solid 0%.
0.
All right. On to the next. IG-88, I'm going to go with a solid 0%.
Give me 2.
Okay.
Wishful thinking.
Sure. Dengar, I'm going to go with a solid 0%.
I'll take a 0. I'm good with that. I have plenty of zeros on my college report card, so it's all good.
Then Zuckuss, 0%.
He's the other weird random
Empire Strikes Back, yeah.
A 1.
Just for the heck of it. Now,
because it's out there.
You'll notice that Forlom is not on this list.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know if I should have put him on this list because
you shouldn't.
Is it confirmed that he's in it at this point?
It's confirmed that is not Forlom.
Oh, it is.
Yeah. It's a different. The name's already been released and everything.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay.
In fact, there's not even a number 4 in the name.
Really?
Yeah. And I was like, well, I guess we got away with IG-11.
Yeah.
You're pushing your luck if you say 4 lamb. What are you going to do?
I would love that.
Yeah.
All right. Well, it looks like as far as popular bounty hunters go, at least from us, don't expect any of these big name bounty hunters. Certainly we could get new ones, which would always be cool and fun. But as far as the big name ones out there, don't expect any of these, at least in our opinion.
I just thought of one other. It's not a bounty hunter, but we've seen it prominently in Mando and Boba. What about Tusken Raiders? I mean, we are on Tatooine. Ooh. And I know that's not a singular character, but a very important people group, to Tatooine.
I think we'll see kind of how like in Rise of Skywalker when Rey shows back up on Tatooine and we see a Jawa poke his head up.
Sure.
We'll probably get the same kind of thing with a Tusken Raider, just from the distance, maybe shooting at Kenobi, kind of connecting back to A New Hope. That would be pretty cool, just as far as them just causing all kind of havoc.
What if we get a whole crate dragon? I mean,
hey,
because he is mimicking a crate dragon when he comes to save Luke in the Jundland Wastes.
Yes, that is a good call.
Those are the dumbest Tusken Raiders ever, though. They must have never seen a Krayt Dragon to have been scared by. It makes no sense.
I think it's highly likely that we see a Tusken Raider in some form.
I wanted to throw that in there before we moved on to some of our big bads.
Yeah. All right. So villains. Emperor Palpatine. I feel pretty confident about this one, 100%. I don't know why I feel that highly about it, but based off of Ian McDermott's quotes recently at it was a convention here in Nashville locally.
Yeah.
I'm blanking on the name of it, but he basically teased, expect my character to show up. Maybe there's some things they're working on where my character's still alive. And now I know that leaves Kenobi or Andor up. I think it could be both. So I'm going to go with 100% for Palpatine. Hologram form, for sure.
Yeah, 100% on the hologram. If we get a physical post Revenge of the Sith, pre A New Hope Emperor in live action, man, that would be something. I know we got him in, Rise of Skywalker, but it'd be so much. I think it's so much more feasible if he's a hologram.
Yeah, wouldn't it be cool too if they left it kind of like in Rebels where all of the propaganda stuff, he's not like messed up or anything, and it's just Ian McDermott back as Palpatine, just not fully messed up or anything.
They did that in Battlefront 2 in the gameplay post Return of the Jedi. So that propaganda of a normal Sheev Palpatine is the thing post Return of the Jedi.
Yeah. That
would be cool. Are we calling that a cameo propaganda?
I think so. I think so.
Well, yeah, I mean, that just adds to the 100 for me, but yeah, I mean, that I hadn't even considered that. I love that idea.
Sounds good.
That's great.
All right, next up, Grand Moff Tarkin. I would love to see him, but I think it would cost too much money to do that whole Rogue One thing again to where I don't think it would fit in the budget, so I'm going to go 0%.
I don't know, man. They've done a pretty good job, figuring this stuff out for TV. You forget Luke Skywalker,
True.
So I'll give it 50.
Wow.
I mean, I don't think he's necessary because look, he's with Obi-Wan a total of one time in Clone Wars. He mentions him once in A New Hope. He just seems absolutely flabbergasted at the idea of Obi-Wan even being alive. There's a 5-cent word for you, by the way, flabbergasted. But when you hear him talk about him in A New Hope, it's just one of those things that he knows who he is.
Yeah. But
Clone Wars did a good job of telling that story. I still think it's possible. I mean, he's doing stuff, and why not? It'd be a cool get, I think.
Fair enough. All right, I'm gonna make these last two pretty quick on my end. I don't think Thrawn or Krennic show up at all, so I'm gonna give 2 zeros to them.
I'll give a 0 to Krennic, and I'll give a 10 to Thrawn.
Man. I still don't expect to see Thrawn show up first in anything except Ahsoka.
Yeah. And I think that's totally correct. I'm going to be very honest with you. I think that is a good mentality to have.
Yeah.
But Thrawn is active during this era. So I think it's possible. And that's why I'm giving it a 10. Because, again, that's the hardest thing about these things. With characters that for a fact are alive at this point, they're almost 100. They have to be, and in a lot of cases. But because he's not necessary for Kenobi's story, I give it a 10%.
Okay.
Yeah.
I get that.
But no Krennic. I think if they do anything with Krennic, they'll save him for Andor.
Yeah. No, I agree.
Yeah.
I agree. It'd be cool, though, to see Krennic maybe in a post-credit that would directly connect to Andor since that's the next show. That'd be pretty cool. I would
love that.
All right. Let's get into locations, and we'll kind of go through these quicker because we definitely need to get to the episode 1 and 2 predictions. So actually, let me just go ahead and give my numbers for this list, then I'll pass it to you, DJ. I feel like we can sometimes go quicker when we go that route. All right, so the Mos Eisley
I like the talk.
Cantina, 50%. I think it's 50-50 as far as we see it because I know I've read an article from Star Wars Newsnet regarding Anchorhead, and I know that we're going to spend some time on that, assumedly. So I'm going to give 100% on Anchorhead. Now, they could be wrong, but I'm just totally basing this off of Star Wars Newsnet's article that Anchorhead's going to show up. Alderaan, gosh. I think I'm going with my heart on this more so because I really want to see this planet explored more. So I'm going to go 100% just because I really want to see it. Now, it will probably just see it with Bail, like, communicating with Obi-Wan in some form. It won't be, like, exploring or whatever. Mustafar, I would say that's a safe bet because that's probably where Vader is hanging out. So I'm going to give 100% on that one. Dagobah.
You have to.
Well, I only think that Yoda is going to commune with Kenobi through the Force to where he's not really going to that location. So I don't think it's a high percentage. I'll go 20%.
Okay.
Death Star, it is, I'm assuming, currently in development, if not at least the structure. It is 10 years post Revenge of the Sith, and we see the structure starting to be formed at the end of Revenge of the Sith. So I'm going to go 70% with just seeing a Death Star being constructed or being finalized. All right, there's my percentages for locations being shown. All right, DJ, your turn.
Copy and paste.
Really?
Except for Death Star. Except for the Death Star.
Okay.
I really was being critical listening to you and thinking about this. But Death Star, I'll give it 80.
Interesting.
I don't think that Kenobi needs to see it. You know, it doesn't matter if Kenobi sees it.
Yeah, and see, I don't know if Kenobi can because of his comment in A New Hope of that's no moon, that's a space station. And he's kind of surprised by that. Yeah,
well, even in Rebels, they don't know what's going on when there's an episode in season 4, I think, where Ezra and Sabine go off with Saw Gerrera to hijack a gigantic kyber crystal that's thought to be used for the Death Star's ultimate weapon. So, you know, they don't even know what's going on at that point. That's how under wraps the Death Star construction is. And you don't need Obi-Wan to hear about it. Right. You know, you don't need even Bail. You don't need Hero at all to hear about it. It makes it more epic, and to save that for Rogue One and A New Hope.
Yeah.
But I think that, you know, if Tarkin shows up, or not Thrawn probably, but, you know, if, you know, Vader may go check it out, Palpatine may mention it or something. Not to say that a mention of it would be the cameo.
Correct. Yeah.
Because you can mention anything. You can mention Hoth.
Right.
And, you know, people would go nuts, but you don't need it. But I still think it'd be cool to have it. And I don't, you know, the likelihood I think is there. That's why I give it 80.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's my only reasoning there.
That is beautiful. All right. Well, there is our likelihood chart, if you will, as far as our percentages of seeing these characters, heroes, bounty hunters, villains, and places, locations showing up in the Obi-Wan Kenobi series. I'm laughing at Jar Jar Binks having negative 1% by it on my end, but hey, I just don't think it's happening. Do not think it's happening. All right.
You're going to see Jar Jar Binks.
Let's finally get into our episode 1 and 2 predictions. So this Friday, we finally get to see both of these episodes. I tried my best, and actually, I'll just go ahead and give some backstory. I struggled with creating predictions, but then I played the 2 trailers that we've gotten on repeat over and over and over and over until I could basically just generate. I've got 10 total that I'm going to share. DJ, you've got half of that. You've got 5. Yeah. Really anything that I could think of, my speculation gears just started rolling. Anything I could think of, I typed it out. I included it on the list. So we'll have some fun. Like we said at the top, gonna be wrong, maybe right, but mostly wrong. I admit that. Yeah. We're here to have fun and speculate. We're not here for you to come to Mando Talk and know exactly what's going to happen on Friday, because I have no clue. I have zero clue. All right. Let's get into it. RFB, we see you in the chat. I appreciate you dropping some bombs on us. Let's real quickly. He says Mustafar and Anchorhead and Alderaan all 100%. I wanted to make sure that was thrown out there. I think we agreed with you on those. Would love to see those definitely show up in the show. All right, episode.
Give us 0 for all those bounty hunters.
Every
bounty hunter. It says all bounty hunters on the list. 0%.
It also says big bads 0.
So here's the thing. I've adopted the RFB mentality in so many cases.
Yeah.
And that mentality is keep your expectations low
Yeah.
And then you'll have a great time, which is where I messed up with Book of Boba Fett. So I'm trying to keep them real low here by maintaining my excitement, at the same time. Yeah.
Fair enough. That's a lesson that we probably all need to learn. All right.
Wisdom.
Episode 1 and 2 predictions. We'll kind of go back and forward on this one. So here's my first. Oh, I need to scroll to get to my list. I was still on the top 5 overall. All right, the first episode is spent entirely on Tatooine. I don't think we leave it. I think we get a good understanding of Obi-Wan's role as far as overlooking Luke and things like that. There's my first prediction. DJ, anything you want to add to that?
No, I think that's solid.
All right, fair enough. All right, let's go to your first prediction.
We're going to learn the name of Obi-Wan Kenobi's Eope, who I internally have been calling him Obi-Wan Kenobi. There it is. It's the first time I've ever actually said it out loud. Obi-Wan Kenobi. That's his name until otherwise proven. Hopefully.
So is that your prediction that the name is?
No.
Oh.
That's what I've been calling him. I call the
Do you have a prediction for the name?
No, I can't. I'm not good with Star Wars names.
Yeah, me either.
Like, when you play, I think it's Squadrons, you can create your own name for person.
And it's so weird to put, Caleb Keller. It's just like, what? No,
it doesn't feel work. Right. and my name I used, I feel like was such a good Star Wars name that I've never shared it with anybody, and I don't intend to share it now.
Interesting.
I just love the name that I came up with, so I keep it to myself. So I guess in my own world, I'm this character I've made up to a certain degree, but regardless, no, I don't have a name prediction. I just think let's hear him be like, "Hey, old bestie," or whatever, I think that'd be really cool. Just okay, all right. And then there'll be a Wikipedia article about it, and it'll be fantastic.
Yeah,
everything will come to a head and it'll be great.
That'd be something. That would be something.
But until otherwise, Obi-Wan Kenobi is what I'm going with.
All right, fair enough.
Until this weekend.
I mean, I have a feeling we might have to keep using that name, DJ. I don't know if I'm on board with this one.
Well, you don't like Obi-Wan Kenobi?
Oh, I love that name.
Oh,
I'm just saying I don't know if we're gonna get a name drop in the actual show.
Come on. You're probably right.
Hey, no, I hope that comes true for you, man. I really do. So that way we see it pop up in Rebels and everywhere else, we can be like, yeah, there's whatever.
Yeah, that's Obi-Wan Kenobi.
All right. My second prediction here, Obi-Wan Kenobi watches young Luke Skywalker at the Lars homestead, the one that we've seen in the trailer. And I actually do think this is episode 1 stuff. That kind of connects to my first prediction where I feel like the entire first episode's on Tatooine to get an understanding of what Obi-Wan Kenobi has been doing. Well, obviously, for these 10 years, he's been watching Luke. So I feel like that shot would easily sum all of that up into one little frame, knock it out in the first episode. Thoughts on that, DJ?
Yeah, I mean, just like a daily or weekly check on Luke, makes sense. I mean, Luke knows he's a thing in A New Hope. So yeah, I mean, it makes sense to me. I don't see any issue with that.
All right, sounds good. Let's keep rolling, then go to your number 2.
Yeah, so this one I worded the way I meant to word it this way.
Okay.
That Obi-Wan escapes Tatooine in episode 2. Now here's my reasoning on this. I think in the background, at one point we see him there's a dead trooper behind him and then also a downed probe droid behind him, and he shoots the pistol.
Yeah, good call.
That looks like it's all on Tatooine.
Yeah, it does.
So for me, it just makes sense to say, okay, he is already being hunted, and quickly, I might add. And he clearly doesn't want to get his lightsaber out. Of course, they may just be saving that for some cool stuff.
Sure.
Because Kanan Jarrus and Ezra Bridger have no problem getting their lightsabers out.
Right.
But I think Kenobi's becoming a bigger target.
Probably,
so that's why. But
for sure.
But the usage of the word escape is he's been discovered. He's got to get out. And I think that's why he leaves. That and to draw the attention away from Luke, probably. Makes sense to me. Because the reason the Inquisitors are there, it could be, because of Obi-Wan, but let's be real. There's a much stronger Force user there, and his name's Luke Skywalker.
That is true.
So anyway, I think he's going to escape Tatooine, and that's when he goes to Daiyu.
Yeah, okay. I like that. so escapes in episode 2. Do we see Dayu in episode 2, or are you saying that'll pick up episode 3?
That's a good question.
Okay.
I don't think I have an answer for that.
Okay, fair enough. RFB says in the chat, might the opener be Ben watching Luke from afar? I mean, yeah, that would make sense. It would honestly make sense. I know visually, ever since I've seen the trailer, I've thought that Obi-Wan on the Eopie is riding out to watch Luke, and that's how the show starts. So that would definitely make sense, RFB. I can definitely see how you're seeing that. All right, next up, my third prediction, and this connects back to one of your top 5, so I don't think there's going to be really much to add to this one. Obi-Wan Kenobi and Owen Lars have their discussion regarding the future of Luke. And speaking of that, they dropped an official clip of that today.
Yeah.
And for some reason, I'm just in love with the fact that I guess it's referenced as, if someone has the Force, it's referenced as showing.
Showing, yes.
I love that. I don't know why, but it just fits the world so perfectly. I love that little phrase, and I love the interaction that these two performers have in this scene. And I do think this is, I don't know if it's, well, I think it's going to be one where this occurs, but we'll see. I definitely think it happens at some point, though, on Friday, regardless if it's episode 1 or 2. And I'm sure you agree.
Yeah, excuse me for the yawn. I got hit with a wave of sleeping. I'm sorry. I do agree with that. It just makes sense. I mean, all of that you just said makes sense. The fact that they'd have it very quickly. You mentioned the showing thing.
Yeah.
Dude, that is the most like non-Jedi way to say someone's a Force user. It just makes sense. And Owen, it looks like him and Obi-Wan have gone, have butted heads before. And
100%.
It's kind of like, dude, we've been over this. Stop bugging. It's just like, why hasn't Owen tried to kill him? But I mean, at a certain point, you want the stalker, if you will, to go away.
Yeah.
And so it's what are they going to he's going to file a restraining order?
I mean, I'm sure
Jedi. I mean, it just doesn't make sense.
Owen and Beru at this point feel like it's been 10 years. We have proven that we've got this under control.
Yeah,
like,
absolutely.
Please leave us alone, dude.
Can you imagine like somebody giving up their kid for adoption and then like the adoptive parents come and take them in and you're like 10 years later, it's like, just checking in. It just like that happens. And I get that there's cases where that's okay, but I can see where like with Beru and Owen, they're like, no, dude, you need to back up.
Yeah.
Just maybe not Beru so much because how she acts in A New Hope, but still, I can see 100% with Owen. Yeah.
All right. Well, we're now ready for your number 3.
My number 3. Okay. Yeah. Vader's tease at the end of episode 1. It doesn't have to be the assembling of the suit like we've seen in the trailer. I think they'll save that. The tease could be anything. It could be breathing. It could be a hologram. It could be an Inquisitor being like, "Hey, he's coming." That
I agree with that.
It could be anything like that. And I honestly, I've teased this Obi-Wan. Not even teased it. I've just talked about this Obi-Wan book I read years ago that I still have. I think it's The Legacy of Obi-Wan Kenobi is what it's called. Obi-Wan discovers Vader existing via a HoloNet recording on Tatooine. He's like walking through the streets of a Tatooine city, is probably Mos Eisley, knowing how these old non-canon novels are. And he sees that, Lord Vader is on the something planet. And he's like, whoa, Vader's alive. And he kind of freaks out. So I'm expecting something similar to that because we know they've been pulling in Legends. Let's tie it in here too. So I'm going to give the Vader being teased in the end of episode 1.
I really like that.
In some fashion.
Yeah, I definitely like. I mean, Vader's been so heavily marketed that if they wait a few weeks to tease, at the minimum tease Vader, I think that would be bad. With the amount that they've marketed the return of Darth Vader and specifically Hayden Christensen, I think it's going to be pretty early on that we at least feel that presence. And when I say feel that presence, that's pretty broad, like you said, all of those different options.
Yes, it goes into a myriad of different things.
So I kind of agree with you there. There's going to be some form of a Vader tease Probably as early as the first episode. I think I agree with that.
I'm talking like the last 30 seconds of the first episode. I'm not talking halfway through. I'm not even talking, way early. Last 30 seconds. Get out of there. That's all I need. And then you go into the second episode because it's the same day. So it's not a big deal.
It's not like you have to wait. Yeah. Yeah. All right. My number 4. We get a glance at Fortress Inquisitorius. Yeah. And hear in on a conversation of the Inquisitor's plans, just to kind of give them backstory. Now, I know us diehard Star Wars fans get what the Inquisitors are and what they do, but again, we talk about this every time a new show comes out. There's still fans out there that have no clue what Inquisitors are. Like my wife, Maddie, she hasn't seen Rebels. She hasn't played Jedi Fallen Order. She doesn't know what Inquisitors are, but she loves watching these shows, so they're going to have to explain what Inquisitors do. And I think visiting that fortress and hearing on a conversation of, oh, we're going after this Jedi, we're going to go kill this Jedi, whatever, gives an immediate knowledge to viewers that, oh, Inquisitors, they're bad guys. They look like bad guys, first of all, but secondly, they're going to end up going after Kenobi. It's setting up the stakes. So I just feel like that would be natural to happen at some point in episode 1 or 2, visiting this fortress and hearing their plans and just kind of getting a quick little backstory for them.
I don't think that's happening.
Okay.
I mean, and I get where you're at, I just don't think that's going to happen in this episode. I think they're going to show up on Tatooine and land in the middle
1 or 2.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, this weekend we're seeing that. I would honestly put it in the first episode.
Okay.
I mean, I really would. It just makes more sense for them to just like land.
You're talking about, you're saying showing up on Tatooine.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The fortress. No, I don't think so. A conversation. Yeah, maybe, like post landing on Tatooine, maybe, but not the way you've described it. You know, I could see, like, I could get where you're at and why they might do that, but I don't think it's going to happen. Yeah,
no, I'm not necessarily saying that it's before they go to Tatooine. I just think it happens at some point in episode 1 or 2.
I'm sitting here thinking you're going to see the meeting at the fortress and then they're going to go to Tatooine is what I was thinking. I
could see that happening, but I'm not like committed to that. I think I'm good either way. I just think it's going to happen at some point this weekend with 1 or 2. Bird up. All right. We're ready for your number 4.
Is it number 4? Okay.
It is.
This one is mixed with a bag of speculation.
Okay.
And I realize that, but it's the Jedi who is hung in the streets will be an established Jedi from the prequels. We saw Owen in that first trailer looking on as somebody's boots were just dangling. It looks like a hanging. If it's not a hanging, it's, someone being force choked, I guess, is the only other option given just Star Wars. But I really think that this is an established Jedi from the prequels. I don't really have a clue as to which. The boots lend themselves to more of a masculine, I guess, feel that you see hanging there. They just look like men's work boots is what they look like.
Sure. Yeah. And
I don't really know how else to put it in that, and they're big feet on top of that, So with that being said, it could be somebody, could be nobody important. I just think it's like a Jedi who we like, oh, that's that one Jedi in the background from that one part of Attack of the Clones. Something like that, and if it's not a Jedi from the prequels, it's certainly a Jedi.
Yeah. Speaking, I mean, that's going to segue into my 5th, but before I kind of reveal my 5th, I think, kind of agreeing with you a little bit, I actually think this Jedi, number 1, I think it's Kumail Nanjiani's actor, or he's the one portraying the Jedi.
Yeah.
So it's going to be new on screen, but I kind of agree with you that I could see it actually being a Jedi that they've revealed in a comic or a novel. That way, like, diehard Star Wars fans are like, whoa, that's cool. But it kind of like they did with Chrysanthemum in Book of Boba Fett.
Yes.
It'll be like a little piece of candy for diehards. But it'll just be something that you just carry on. Oh, that was a cool Jedi for any other viewer.
Yeah, because like if you didn't know who Chrysanthemum was, like me beforehand, you're like, well, that's a pretty cool looking Wookiee,
100%.
So if this is a Jedi that's not Kumail Nanjiani's, I don't think it's Kumail Nanjiani's character. because I'm pretty sure if he is a Jedi, they're going to kill him pretty quick, is my guess. The Inquisitors, I mean.
Yeah.
So I think they're going to save his character reveal until a little later.
Okay.
So I don't think he's that Jedi here. I really think this is a totally different Jedi.
Okay. Fair enough.
Yeah.
Well, going into my fifth prediction, the Inquisitors arrive on Tatooine following the trail of a Jedi, which I am thinking it's Kumail's Jedi, who is in search of Obi-Wan. And that's kind of why Obi-Wan maybe does end up potentially having to leave Tatooine because they're on his trail. And I think I'm getting a little ahead of myself. But anyway, and that Jedi is ultimately killed. I do think that Kumail's Jedi doesn't necessarily last long in the series. Yeah. I do think that's going to be the Jedi that's hung on the streets of Tatooine. So there's my fifth prediction. Kind of bounced off of yours a little bit, but it's a little bit different. I do think that is why the Inquisitors are there. That Jedi? I don't think it's Obi-Wan. I don't think it's Luke either.
Yeah, I think it's a totally separate Jedi.
I think it's going to segue into them noticing, there might be other Force users here.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, because Tatooine's a great place to hide. Obviously, that's how Obi-Wan's made it that far and that long. And then Luke himself, being the son of a Jedi, it almost sounds like an insult. You son of a Jedi. Like, it's not an insult. It's actually be a compliment when you think about it. But anyway, I could see where that's a good place to hide. So if they track somebody there, it's almost like hey, this is my planet. You need to get lost. Kind of like Cara Dune and Mando in Mandalorian season 1.
I just thought of another cast member that they have not revealed yet. Benny Safdie.
Oh, who's that one?
That might be the Jedi.
Let me see here.
Instead of Kumail, because in a trailer we've seen Reva ignite it, and then this cloaked guy from behind with kind of longer hair.
Yeah,
I think it might be Benny Safdie's character and not Kumail. So maybe I need to adjust that a little bit. My prediction on screen still fits. I think the Inquisitors are after a Jedi, but instead of it being Kumail's character, it might be Benny Safdie's character that they haven't revealed who he's playing yet.
Yeah, I'm looking at his IMDb right now. He has not done much. I mean, it sounds bad the way I say that, but he's only really been active since 2004. I've never heard of a single one of these things he's done.
Yeah. No, I have no clue what he's been in. I just know that he was on the initial cast announcement, and it just kind of clicked to me that we haven't seen anything with him portrayed in it.
It does have him on here, episodes 2 through 6.
Oh, interesting. But IMDb has also had George Lucas listed on Andor and things like that. So
so that's why I've learned in the last few years, especially in the last year doing Mando Talk. It's like, man, don't rely on IMDb for solid stuff. It's one of those. It's good once it's all out there.
Oh, sure, yeah.
Yeah.
But anyway, my fifth prediction: Inquisitors arrive on Tatooine following the trail of a Jedi who is in search of Obi-Wan, and that Jedi is ultimately killed. That's the Jedi that we see hanging in the streets. All right,
and that
DJ.
Reva like pulls her lightsaber out of that, right?
Right.
I gotta 100% agree. Tack that on for me. That's good. Okay,
your fifth.
Such a lackluster prediction. Obi-Wan has a bad dream.
Okay.
Now
I'm interested because I want to know what that means.
Well, as a sentence, it's lackluster. I think this is kind of how I see episode 1 opening. He's a war veteran. Okay. We understand in our world, PTSD affects war veterans. Oh yeah. Random. This coming weekend, happy Memorial Day to
absolutely.
We can save that for later, but happy Memorial Day coming up. To all of our vets and those in service, even now, thank you so much for that. But, I wanted to just kind of throw that in there because he's been through some stuff. He's seen some stuff. He essentially killed his best friend, and he's watched his best friend's wife die, even though he didn't know it was his wife, and he's seen Jedi. He kind of did. Yeah, he kind of did. He knew something was up. But, I mean, if it wasn't a little something on the side, it was there. I'm just saying. Never mind. Never mind. But anyway, all that to say, it's a bad dream that is fueled by the Force, fueled by his past, maybe even a vision of the future. I mean, there's no telling what they could do with this. And I really think that a bad dream could encompass a lot of things. You know, maybe he thinks he wakes up and there's a clone standing over the top of him and he ignites that lightsaber and swooshes at nothing, you know?
Yeah.
It could be anything, you know, like that. I think it's just Obi-Wan has a bad dream. It's what kicks off the whole series. And then that's when he gets on his Obi-Wan Kenobi and rides to the Lars homestead to go check on Luke. You know, that's how I see that first episode.
Okay.
The first 5 minutes going, you know.
I like that.
Yeah, that's how I can't really think of any other way to really get around that.
Okay.
Obi-Wan's such an important character, and he's had to, you know, thought about some dark stuff, and it just makes sense.
Yeah.
Given where we're at here in the timeline of Star Wars.
I really like that. I think that would be a nice immediate call to action for Kenobi to get involved in the events that are going to occur in this show. It would, and it gives satisfaction to people that are like, oh, Obi-Wan can't do anything except watch Luke. Yeah, it would give satisfaction to that.
You just need something to propel the story forward. Yeah. Why would he go check on Luke? You know, other than it being a routine. Like, do you really need a routine if he's got an aunt and uncle to go check on? Like, do you really need to do that all the time? Mm-hmm. So maybe there's just like, well, I had a bad dream. Let me go check on him. You know,
and then he probably discovers more. After that,
because like
cool.
I know
that'd be cool.
I've had bad dreams about family members, and I'm like, let me make sure y'all are okay real quick. You know what I mean? Like it's like I wake up and text, hey, I had a weird dream. Are you okay? You good? Yeah, okay, good. You know, just making sure everything's okay. Maybe that's just me. I don't know if anybody else does that. No, I definitely have had those dreams. Okay, and so I just think it lends itself to the character. Yeah, and it gives more to the character even.
I like it. I really like it. All right.
Cool.
So it looks like it's just me the rest of the way. I've got 5 more, but of course, after I read it and discuss a little bit, I'll give it to you, DJ, for you to say yes or no or just elaborate a little bit.
Let's do it.
All right. My 6th prediction, and this is directly after my 5th one. 6th prediction, the Inquisitor's further suspicions lead to Obi-Wan planning to leave the planet at the end of Episode 1. So I was specific enough to say at the end of Episode 1, so this Jedi has been killed, but some of the Inquisitors start feeling maybe those other Force presences, and that leads to Kenobi needing to get off the planet of Tatooine at the end of Episode 1. What are your thoughts on that? That might be off, especially hearing some of the things you've said earlier, but my thoughts.
I mean, just because I said something doesn't mean it can't be wrong.
Oh, right. I'm just saying, like, I mean, we might disagree on this one.
No, that makes the most sense to me. You know, I could see, you know, like I said, episode opens up, bad dream. He goes, checks on Luke, goes to Anchorhead or wherever. And then the Inquisitors land, and then they kill the Jedi, and they're like, but I still sense the presence. Yeah. Well, then they start kind of looking around, and Obi-Wan's like, oh crap, I feel the presence too. I'm a dip. You know, I could see that happening. That makes a lot of sense.
The only thing that you said earlier that now makes me feel like this prediction wouldn't make sense is Obi-Wan wouldn't just leave without causing some distraction to make the Inquisitors go after him and not focus in on Luke.
Sure. Yeah, why not? Because I mean that sounds like Obi-Wan.
Yeah.
To cause a distraction to lead the enemy somewhere else. Sure. We see that in Clone Wars. Heck, we see that in A New Hope when he goes and messes up the tractor beam. So it makes total sense to me.
Okay. Well, I mean, guess rolling into my 7th prediction here then, I think Obi-Wan then arrives on Daiyu in Episode 2. I don't know. This is something I was struggling to piece together. I don't know if he communicates with Bail Organa before he goes to Daiyu. I don't know his motives on why he goes there. That's something that I'm still internally trying to figure out. So I just played it safe and just put that Obi-Wan shows up on that planet in Episode 2. I don't know why, don't know how necessarily, but I think we see that planet in the 2nd episode. What do you think?
It's certainly possible. You know, I mentioned that he's going to leave Tatooine pretty quick. I can't remember what I said earlier now. Let me go back up here and look. I can't remember. When did I say he leaves?
Like Obi-Wan escapes Tatooine in Episode 2. That was your number 2 prediction.
Well, then, with that being the case, let me stay in that vein. He'll go to Daiyu here in the second episode. So escaping Tatooine would lend itself to that. So yeah, I would agree with that.
Okay, fair enough.
Yeah.
I won't add much to that, but I did bounce off of that for my 8th prediction, and I did say that Bail Organa appears in episode 2. I don't know what kind of appearance that is, whether it's hologram, physical, don't know, but I think it would make sense for Kenobi to communicate with him if our little predictions earlier about young Leia and the Organa family are true. It would make sense for Bail to somehow get connected into it that early on.
Yeah, that makes sense. I personally expect them to show up later.
Okay.
But because it's only 6 episodes, that's kind of hard to say.
That's the big reason why I put Bail Organa in episode 2, because I feel like 4 through 6 is going to be focused on Kenobi Vader, like making sure that we're building up to that. But I feel like maybe 1 through 3 is going to be focused on Inquisitors going after him and Kenobi getting involved with the Organa side of things. I don't know.
Yeah, that's fair. I don't want to subscribe to that, but it makes the most sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's right. Yeah, I'm going to stay with it. I think that's right. Yeah.
We'll see. Okay, this 9th prediction, I really struggled to type this because I don't want it to be true.
Yeah.
But going off of the promotional material, I felt like it's an easy prediction to come to, but I hope I'm actually wrong with this one. I put as my 9th prediction that Obi-Wan does not use his lightsaber during the first 2 episodes. Now, I have to admit, though, if we go on Friday and we don't see a single blue lightsaber, people have been hyped for this show for so long, and we don't see him ignite that saber, I have a feeling people might be a little disappointed. But I know at the end game of that, I feel like it would definitely pay off. It would make sense for the character to not want to use that lightsaber maybe he's got trauma anytime he uses it. I mean, that's certainly possible. Also, he doesn't want to be recognized. He wants to stay as quiet as possible, and he knows not igniting that doesn't bring attention to him. So those are 2 things that would make this prediction seem likely, but I kind of hope I'm wrong with this one. What do you think when you see this?
No, I think that this is absolutely right.
Okay.
When you think about the story they're trying to tell, and me having lowered my expectations quite a bit since the beginning of Book of Boba Fett for projects, and honestly, I should have lowered them years ago for different things, if I'm being real honest.
Fair.
Which I think is why I like Rogue One so much, because my expectations were very low for that.
Had no clue what it was going to be. No clue.
Yeah, I mean, and my expectations for Solo were bad, and Rise of Skywalker and Last Jedi, they were just off, and I think that really tainted my viewing. So for this, I've kept mine in check.
Yeah.
That being said, no lightsaber for 2 episodes. And if he uses it, I'm going to be like, okay, look, I could see him using it like in the middle of the desert, because that weird 6-legged creature that Boba Fett killed in Book of Boba Fett, like episode 1, shows up. And he's like, well, obviously I need to use, like, that's the only exception where he would use it because he absolutely needs to.
Yeah.
But beyond that, no, he's not igniting that lightsaber. That's it. Because that lightsaber is just a tool for survival if he has no option, Right. And then I think by the time we get to New Hope, he's just kind of like, whatever, cuts off what's his name's arm and moves on,
True.
Because he's leaving.
That's a good point.
Because I'm convinced Obi-Wan knows he's leaving Tatooine and not coming back.
Yes. And I was about to say the same thing. I think that's kind of why he's off the rails at that point, because he knows there's no coming back.
Yeah.
But anyway, that's another deep discussion we could have at a later date.
Man, can you even imagine? I think we've just gotten the tip of the iceberg on so many random things.
We have.
It's great.
And we need to be making notes for sure. Main Street McGreevy's, which is Ben McGreevy. What is up, dude? Glad that you're here. In the chat says, do you think we could see it in flashbacks? Are we talking about the Obi-Wan Kenobi lightsaber? I think we are.
Oh, that's a good call. That makes me mad now.
The first 2 episodes?
Yeah, I didn't even consider a flashback.
I don't know if we get a flashback in the first 2
All right,
episodes.
I'm going to say that. I think we do. To a certain degree. With those bad dreams.
Please elaborate.
I'm doing this little. No, I mean, we can have flashbacks that I've got like 2 or 3 different potential intros in my head for how episode 1 would go. Like if I'm the one writing the story, I've got I've got the bad dream scenario, because that's a classic. You got your flashback scenario. Rogue One did it. It's a classic. Everybody knows that trope. So it's possible that, we could see it in a flashback in the first episode, but I'm still going to stick with my guns, and my instincts tell me no lightsaber that's blue for the first 2 episodes.
Yeah. I think I'm still leaning toward that, but I could see a flashback route of, I guess that would definitely derail this 9th prediction. I was only thinking like present time when I typed that out.
Sure, and I was too, as soon as you said it.
I still think flashbacks are... I think they might save flashbacks until later in the show, because they know it's so anticipated that so many fans want to see it, that it might be something to tack on toward the end to just build hype up toward that little rematch that we'll end up getting eventually.
Yes.
All right, my 10th and final prediction.
You need a drum roll?
It's not necessary, I don't think.
Okay. That's fine.
Darth Vader being assembled, I think, occurs as the very last scene in episode 2.
Why didn't I write that down?
And that's where we're left this weekend, and we got to wait until next Wednesday to finally see, I guess, Vader in action in some form. I think that would be a perfect little tease, perfect little setup. It would let the Disney Plus subscribers know, okay, I definitely need to check out this show because Vader's coming back next week. It would make sense as far as a marketing standpoint goes and all the business side of things. So I think we're holding off on Vader until the very end of episode 2. Now, that was different from what you said. You said teased in some form.
A tease. I didn't say he had to show up.
I think I agree with your tease assessment. But I when I say shows up as the last scene in episode 2, I mean physical. Like, we're actually going to see this guy pop up at the very end of episode 2 to let everybody know come back.
No, I think that is exactly what's going to happen.
Okay.
That's how episode 2 ends.
Okay.
You want to put the emphasis on Vader and Obi-Wan fast.
Yeah.
And the best way to do it is, first of all, tease it to end the weekend and bump Stranger Things from its throne. Okay. Which, by the way, because that's why they moved the date, I feel like I have to mention this. The Stranger Things episodes top over 2.5 hours.
I've heard that. Yeah.
And no one's binging that.
You'd be surprised.
I'm sorry. Like, even before I had a kid, I wasn't binging. I wasn't going to do that. You know, there's just no way. I tried binging Daredevil like 16 different times.
Sure.
I've never finished Daredevil, not because I don't want to. I do. It's just things get in the way.
Yeah.
If you have, the only way you're binging it is if you just have nothing going on.
Well, okay. There are definitely diehard Stranger Things fans that have blocked off this entire weekend to watch the entire thing.
Really?
I 100% believe so.
I can get it if it's like Harry Potter, Lord of the Rings.
But some people, I know Avengers. We're getting off to a tangent here, but some people view Stranger Things to that level. It's crazy, yeah. I love Stranger Things. Don't get me wrong.
More power to you. I've never finished the second season.
Really? And see, I'm kind of bummed that they're coming out on the same weekend because I want to watch Stranger Things, but I'm watching Kenobi first. Like, come on.
It's a battle between nostalgia and something people have a recency value on. And that's what Disney's banking on right now.
Sure.
And that's what Netflix is banking on. So that being the case, I really just don't think that this has nothing to do with this last prediction. I have no idea why we're here, but I just can't see it happening. You're going to devote 10 to plus hours, to that. I can't do that because my attention span is not that long, sure. And I grew up with an iPhone, like my attention span is not going to last that long because I have little apps I can play with. But with Kenobi, you can have me for 2 hours.
Yeah.
Oh, I can give. That's easy.
I mean,
easy
we're sitting here
money.
roasting Stranger Things for having 2-hour episodes, but hey, if Kenobi wanted to do 4-hour episodes, I'm watching it.
I guess it does make a difference if it is Star Wars.
I just don't think you have the Stranger Things love to kind of see it from that view.
I don't. I really don't. And
there are people that are going to watch it over Kenobi, though, believe it or not.
God bless them. I don't know what's wrong with them.
Man.
I'm in a church right now. I'm
gonna come down violence.
I'm gonna come down here and pray for some folks real quick and make sure get your heart right is what you need to do. Get with Star Wars.
Oh man. Anyway,
okay, back to Darth Vader. Back to Darth Vader. Yeah. No, Darth Vader being assembled. Yeah, totally makes sense. Okay. It occurs at the end of a solid, like minute to 30 seconds to a minute, dedicated to this. I think that's enough time to really give a tease. And he gets all this assembled. The helmet comes on, and he gets up and walks out. I mean, come on.
Don't forget about my little idea a couple weeks back. Now, as the pieces are coming on Vader, we see flashbacks of Anakin Skywalker and all of as each piece is assembled onto Hayden Christensen's Anakin, that is symbolizing Anakin fully going away.
I forgot about that.
And that way it could be a minute and a half of content.
That's the transition we need from Anakin to Vader. It gives us all these little
more machine now than man.
Oh my goodness, Caleb.
Let's go.
Caleb
Let's go.
Keller. You
hire me, Lucasfilm.
You genius.
Hire me.
Brilliant. Just absolutely A+ work, sir.
Thank you, man.
A+ work.
Hey, I'm here every Tuesday for predictions, every Thursday for spoiler discussions, except this week because they're releasing the show on Friday, obviously. But that means this Friday we'll be live at 6 p.m. to do a spoiler discussion of the first 2 episodes of Obi-Wan Kenobi. But don't overlook Thursday. Make sure you're back on Thursday at 6 p.m. like normal, because we're going to do a celebration day 1 recap, because we've got that live action panel that they're kicking off Celebration with, which I'm assuming is going to have Mandalorian, Andor, Kenobi even, all kinds of goodies and trailers, teasers, posters, anything.
Grammar Rodeo.
Grammar Rodeo. Let's go. They should just leave that name. They should just leave it.
That's just Star Wars. Grammar Rodeo, starring.
We're definitely going to cover all of that stuff on Thursday's live stream. So make sure you're here for that. Make sure you're here on Friday for the spoiler discussion at 6 p.m. Central for both of those. And don't forget, big announcement coming soon. Specifically, we're probably gonna announce it on Friday. I'll just go ahead and say that.
Yeah, it truly is
massive.
I've told close friends of mine already about it because I'm so excited about it. And they're excited for me because they understand how big this is.
Yeah.
And when people who don't know Star Wars as well as you do understand how big something is, that's a big deal. And again, like Caleb said at the top of this episode, we're not teasing this because we want it to be big. This truly is a big deal.
It is.
So come back this weekend for sure, because you're going to want to hear about this.
And you know what else is a big deal? Star Wars Celebration and Obi-Wan Kenobi. But also the fact that Mando Talk's covering both of those tremendously. I'll leave it at that.
That's a trifecta worth subscribing to.
Absolutely. DJ, any final thoughts you want to let our lovely audience know? Oh, I do want to say one more thing, though. I'm sorry. I saw that some people came into the chat kind of late. Go back and listen to the entire thing because you missed at the top of the stream. We did overall series predictions that I think you'll enjoy as well. But anyway, DJ, I just wanted to say that. DJ, final thoughts. Final words.
I had a good time party until I was purple. It was a good time. So I love my purple background. I love the work that B.A. Brandon Anderson has done with our media. It's
great.
I mean, come on, man.
Good soup.
doesn't get much better than that. It is good soup. It's the best soup. It is the best soup. And RFB, hold your horses.
Yes.
You can know on Friday.
You will know. So
don't jump into my DMs because I'm not responding.
Hey. Anybody can jump into Mando Talks DMs, but if it's asking about what the big announcement is, I'll say, what do you think about Kenobi? That's what I'll say instead.
What's the announcement? Well, I'll answer your question with a question.
All right, let's get out of here. We hope that you have a good remainder of the week. but we're going to see you toward the end of the week with the things that we've got going on. And we hope that you enjoy Celebration. We hope that you enjoy Kenobi. And we hope that you enjoy us as you enjoy those things. Well, until next time, follow us Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok at Mando Talk. Join our Discord. Link is in the description. And as always, we have spoken.